Hello everyone, I'm Fozzie or Cam and I'm here as always with my co-host Will. How are you doing today, Will?
I'm doing great, Cam. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. And today is Saturday, the Saturday before the Super Bowl. Always a big day full of predictions and theories and ideas and hot takes. And I mean, honestly, that's exactly what we're gonna do here today. I mean, not only is Super Bowl tomorrow, but our team, the New England Patriots, is in the Super Bowl tomorrow. So this is obviously extra important for us. So we're gonna make some predictions. We're gonna give our takes. We're gonna give our hot takes, some theories, um, some of this, some of that, And I think we have some other stuff non-football related we can touch too. But yeah, really here, I want to focus on this big game tomorrow. But right off the bat, Will, I want to talk about the halftime show. Are you at all excited for this Bad Bunny halftime show?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always intrigued to see what the NFL halftime show has to offer. And I think the NFL has done such a good job with promoting di diversity with the NFL halftime show over these past several years. I think Maroon 5, that when they did the halftime show back in 2019, since 2019, I can't think of one person who's done the halftime show that's been white. They have been, I feel like, putting such a focus on diversity in the Super Bowl halftime show since Maroon 5 did it back in 2019. And I feel like it's so great that they've made that decision because, I think it's been unfortunately proven that as much progress as there has been made when it comes to racism in this country, it definitely does sadly still exist, as was especially shown back in the year 2020 with George Floyd and all the other tragic stuff that happened that year. So I feel like, when we're living in a time when racism definitely still exists, to be able to see the NFL put diversity on the forefront in such a big way with these Super Bowl halftime shows over these past several years, I think it's a really important message that they're sending.
Yeah, not only is it an important message, they've also gotten great artists to do these halftime shows. I mean, obviously I was a huge fan of last year's as I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan. I don't know, do I have a poster back? No, I don't have a poster back there, but I have a poster somewhere, a Kendrick Lamar poster. I'm a big fan. And I was a huge fan of last year's performance. However, I am not a Bad Bunny fan. I'm not particularly one to care that he doesn't speak English. I guess I could see that being a reason people might not watch the Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm not really into what other people are saying right now about this Bad Bunny halftime show. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I mean, I'm interested to say the least. I mean, he's not my favorite artist, so obviously I'm a little disappointed, especially coming from someone who I love, like Kendrick Lamar to Bad Bunny. Do I think he'll probably put on a good show? Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of a Super Bowl that hasn't at least attempted to put on a good show. So I bet the choreography will be great. And despite me not knowing many of his songs, I think I'll still have a good time watching it. And I mean, the guy's an entertainer. I mean, if you saw him at the Grammys, he was a really funny guy. He's been acting in movies, so he clearly has a good personality, and he's clearly a real showman. So. I think this will be a good halftime show nonetheless, despite me not knowing much about it. And honestly, it just kind of upsets me, just the annoying amount of hate this is getting. Like, I don't know, maybe I don't even want to get too deep into it, but the Kid Rock is having a halftime show, his own halftime show. So, the Kid Rock halftime show is available for whoever wants to watch that. I won't be, obviously. I'll be watching the real one and the good one. But anyway, yeah, definitely interested to see this. But you know what I'm more interested about? Well, and this is actually probably why I'm this interested in the Super Bowl is obviously because our team is in it. I think if this was some other team in the Super Bowl, I'd obviously be interested. I'd be watching, but I'd be less just because the halftime show is not my alley and it's not my team. But At least I have my team this year. I had my halftime performer last year, and I have my team this year. So right off the bat, I kind of just want to give my score prediction, or not my score prediction, my winning prediction. I think, as much as this pains me to say it, I think the Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl tomorrow. But I have different scenarios that could go down. I think it's slightly more likely that the Seahawks win, but I have scenarios in my head in which the Patriots win. One of those scenarios being Sam Darnold. I mean, obviously, has proven that he isn't amazing quarterback overall throughout his career. Sure, he's played pretty good these last 2 years, but I mentioned it last podcast. He's been surrounded by some of the best offenses football can have. How do you go from Justin Jefferson to JSN? The current offensive player of the year. Not saying that that is an excuse for him being great or whatever. He's definitely gotten better and he's definitely a good quarterback. Do I think he's gone over being a bad quarterback completely? No. I think when you're that bad as he was when he was drafted by the Jets, I think that will kind of stay with him forever. He has a history of choking in big moments. He has a history of throwing interceptions. So if our defense continues to play how it's been playing, I could see Sam Darnold messing up, throwing an interception, and us winning the football game. I think that is, if we're going to win, that's how we're going to do it. I could also see us winning by Drake May finally coming back to life because, I mean, as much as it pains me to say, I haven't been fully happy with his playoff performance. I'm literally wearing an I Heart Drake May t-shirt, and I'm still not happy with his playoff performance. So if the guy can go back to his regular self, go crazy, that, in my opinion, will be a win. But if he keeps playing how he's been playing in these playoff games, then it'll probably be a different story, you know. Will, do you have a win prediction?
As much as it pains me to say this, I'm in total agreement with you, Cam, that Seattle's going to win this game. And as a Patriots fan, I hate saying that, but I just feel like it's what's going to happen. Seattle is just dominant on so many levels. And I just think they are the toughest opponent that the Patriots have faced this postseason by far. And look, if the Patriots win, would that surprise me? No, because when you're a team that's made it to the Super Bowl, you have obviously proven that you're capable of winning at the highest level. And Sam Darnold, even though he has played great overall these last 2 seasons, Minnesota ended up losing in the wild card round last season, and they gave up on him, and which is why he's in Seattle now. So, I do think it's important to remember that for as great of a season as Sam Darnold had last year, didn't end on a great note with Minnesota exiting in the wild card round. So I could maybe see a scenario where Sam Darnold flames out again and New England finds a way to win. But if I had to bet money on who was going to win this game, as much as it pains me to say it, I just have to go with Seattle. And this is what bothers me so much about sports. I have been trying to emotionally prepare myself in every way I can for Seattle winning the game. I'm trying to say to myself, Seattle's going to win this game. Expect Seattle to win this game. I am trying to emotionally prepare myself for what I think is going to happen tomorrow. And yet I know that no matter how much preparation I do for Seattle winning tomorrow, I know that if it happens, or since I assume they're going to win when it happens, I just know that no matter how much I try to emotionally prepare myself, I'm gonna feel disappointed in the moment because it's just the natural feeling to have come up when your team's in the Super Bowl. So let's hope for a miracle, but boy, do I think the Patriots have their work cut out for them tomorrow.
Oh, 100%. And so let's go. Let's say our theory is right. Say Seattle wins the Super Bowl. How much do you think they're winning by? Do you think it'll be a last minute, last ditch effort field goal, or do you think they'll just be dominating the whole way? Me personally, I think if they're gonna win this game, I think they're gonna be up by at least a touchdown or two. I can't really see it being, if Seattle's going to win, I can't see it being by a field goal in overtime or at the end of the fourth quarter or whatever it may be. I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be, um, I can see if we win, it being in overtime, being an Andy Borregales field goal to win the Super Bowl. I could see that happening. Not as much with the, Seahawks, just because when they're dominant, they're dominant. But Will, what do you think? Do you think if Seattle wins and our prediction is right, it's by a lot or a little?
I think if Seattle wins, I would probably predict for them to win by maybe around 10 points, maybe like a touchdown
Yeah,
and a field goal. I want to be respectful to New England from the standpoint of,
100%.
again, like if you have made the Super Bowl, you have proven yourself to be a team that is capable of competing at the highest level. So I want to give New England respect from that standpoint. Like, do I think Seattle's going to win the game? I do, but if they do win, I don't think they're just going to have the win handed to them. I do think the Patriots are going to make them earn it. So if I had to pick, like, how much would Seattle win by, I would say maybe like a 10-point win for them or something like that.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. And now I want to ask a question here, a few questions. Um, One of them is, do you think we'll we'll see, I don't know, over 40 yards of Drake May rushing?
I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. What do you think?
I say yes, mainly just because I think he's gonna have to run a lot. I mean, we saw that in the Denver, and that was mostly because of the snow. But it was also reported after that game that Drake May injured his shoulder, which it was his throwing shoulder. Now he's off the injury report. There's only like four people on the last injury report, which I believe was today. um, which is good. Or it might have been yesterday. Um, it's bad. Splain's still on there, which is unfortunate, but it's another topic. But so he's off the injury list, and it could have been they were focusing on resting him. It could have been some mild discomfort, but I kind of doubt that. So what comes into my mind is that I think it's a possibility that his shoulder isn't 100%, that his throwing shoulder isn't 100%, which will obviously impact how he throws. Therefore, I think he'll have to run with the ball or run the ball more than expected. Um, and honestly, if there was a game, I don't know about you, Will, but watching these games, I haven't seen Drake May get tackled while rushing once, which is really impressive. But, and I don't really want him getting tackled, but if there's a game where I want to see my quarterback go through someone for an extra yard or two, it's this game. I mean, honestly, if there's a game, I'm fine with my quarterback getting dinged a little bit, not injured. And if it means he'll get a few extra yards by not sliding, I think this could be the game to do it. Yeah, I'm going the over on that one. I think Drake May will have over 40 rushing yards, and I bet he'll have a rushing touchdown too. Another question I have is, do you think Andy Borregales, if the Patriots win, do you think we kind of answered this, but do you think the Patriots uh, having Andy Borregales will be a big reason why we win if we win?
Yes, I could certainly see that being the case because if the Patriots win, I'm assuming it'll be by a very small margin. I am not expecting this to be like the Tampa Bay Kansas City Super Bowl from several seasons ago when everybody was expecting that. Uh, to be a close game with Mahomes and Brady duking it out, but Tampa Bay ended up shockingly destroying Kansas City in that game. I'm not expecting that with the Patriots at all. If they win, I think it's going to be by a very small margin, and I think Seattle's going to make them really work for it. So could I see this being a situation where it's a close game and they have to rely on a field goal to win it, either at the end of the fourth quarter or overtime? I could 100% see that being the case.
Yeah, I've kind of already said this too, but I totally think if we win, Andy Borregales will be a big part of it. One other question I have, I've been thinking about this for a while. We have two running backs, Thunder and Lightning, Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. Both, well, one of them is a very promising running back. One of them is a good running back who's actually been playing really well at the tail end of the season after having some early season struggles. Do we think, and I kind of see it differ game to game, but I mean, it's been mostly Ramondre and playoffs. I've kind of seen either one game be a Traven Henderson game or one game be a Ramondre game. Um, I'm leaning towards Ramondre, but do you think this will be a Ramondre Stevenson running game, or will it be a Travion Henderson running game?
I genuinely think since this is the Super Bowl, they're gonna need to rely on both of them. Like I feel like if there is ever a game for those two to kind of share the load and both have a massive game, it would be the Super Bowl. I Seattle is such a dominating opponent that the Patriots are going to need all hands on deck in order to win this game. So I feel like if the Patriots win, it can't just be reliance on one of those two. I think they're both going to have a huge game.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, to be honest. I think they each bring different factors, but what scares me slightly about Ramondre, and I know it hasn't happened in a while, the fumbling scares me. One thing that we cannot have is turnovers. That goes for Drake May. If I see him fumble the ball, I'm gonna lose my mind. And I don't know if we forgot about a deal that I made last podcast, but I'm at a table right now, right? It's a wooden table. If Ramondre Stevenson fumbles this football in the Super Bowl, I'm going to break this table. Okay? I'm gonna break it. I don't even know how I'll do the podcast because I won't have a table. I mean, it'll be a real struggle over here. I will be so upset if Ramondre Stevenson fumbles the football, and that alone makes me hope and think that it'll be a Trayvon Henderson game. But I've seen him get stopped by defenses more than Ramondre has, especially recently. So I don't know. It could really go both ways here. Now my last thing I wanted to inquire here is say we score three touchdowns. Who do you think is scoring those touchdowns for us?
Ooh, that is that is a great question. I would say I feel like if they're gonna win um this game, they're gonna need all of their big time players to show up. So if we're scoring three touchdowns, I would say maybe one to each of the running backs, and then the other one to Stephon Diggs. Because obviously we're going to need our running backs to show up in this game, but we're going to need Diggs to show up too. So I would say if we're scoring three touchdowns, one to each of those three players. What do you think, Cam?
See, I'm thinking similar to you, but I gotta say, I don't. For some reason, I see a Ramondre Stevenson goal line touchdown in my mind. I bet it'll be a big play from Kayshon Boutte, Kyle Williams, or Mac Hollins. Not Diggs. I don't see Diggs in my head right now. Um, I see I see it landing at the 1, 2, or 3 yard line, um, and then Ramondre busting it in for a touchdown. I see a Drake May rushing touchdown in my mind, and I also see a Hunter Henry touchdown with a possible honorable mention Diggs touchdown. I think Hunter Henry is one of the most useful parts of our offense. The guy makes plays all the time at a consistent rate. Drake throws him the ball, he's there. He's a big target. He's a good blocker. He's a good red zone warrior. So I think if we're gonna score touchdowns in the red zone, then that's how it's gonna happen, you know. Um, so fingers crossed there. And I've been kind of worried recently about Diggs in the Super Bowl, with Stephon Diggs in the Super Bowl, because if you look at him throughout the season, he's been up, 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 and then he'll have a few down games, and especially towards the tail end of the season, it's kind of faded off. It's kind of faltered a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I see him as less and less of a presence in these playoff games. I kind of alluded to this last podcast, but I think he needs to be a big presence this week. But given, I mean, the tape that other teams have on us, given how well people like Kyle Williams, Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins, and Hunter Henry have been playing, Will, do you think we're gonna have a big game for Stephon Diggs, or do you think it'll continue to be like it's been in the playoffs?
I think I could genuinely see it going either way. From the standpoint of, on one hand, Stephon Diggs has proven himself to be a big time player. So I could
Oh
see
yeah.
him rising to the occasion and having a big game in the Super Bowl. Because Stephon Diggs has been waiting to get to this moment for a long, long time. He
Oh
probably
yeah.
thought he was going to get to this moment when he was with Buffalo, but it just didn't end up happening. So I cannot even imagine how much he's chomping at the bit for the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl and win this game. So could I see him having a big game? Absolutely. But I could also see it going the other way, from the standpoint of, I feel like sometimes when you're in a slump, it's just kind of hard to get out of it. And maybe for Stephon Diggs, this could be a situation to where he's in a bit of a slump right now. He's going to have a hard time getting out of it, and it's going to be on the other players to win them the game. So I could genuinely see it going either way. What do you think, Kim?
Honestly, for me, I think they're gonna need him to go 100% this game. I don't think they have a choice. I could definitely see it not going his way as much and continuing to be how it's been as of late. But I think if the Patriots really want to win this game, they have to rely on their still pretty solid veteran wide receiver, Stephon Diggs. I think that is one of the only choices they have um, for an impactful difference. The guy literally pretty much catches every ball that gets thrown to him. He has insane hands. If you watch some of his film, you can see he's gotten at least 5 yards after every catch. So if he can play like he did that first Buffalo game, I'll be happy, you know? And my final question I have here is, the Seahawks have superstar wide receiver Jackson Smith Njigba, JSN, Offensive Player of the Year. I honestly, in my opinion, think Puka Nacua deserved it over him. I think he's a better wide receiver, but that's a different conversation. Do you, do you think our superstar cornerback Christian Gonzalez, if he actually even ends up covering JSN, because I think there's a scenarios where he doesn't. I don't know 100%, but do you think he'll be able to lock down and secure JSN and make him essentially a non-factor? Because if you look at him all season, he just got his first pick of the season. I think maybe last game. Yeah, last game against the Broncos, which sounds like, oh, he must not be very good. No, in fact, it's the opposite. He is good. The reason he's not getting these interceptions, these turnovers, is because they don't throw to whoever he's guarding. He's so good, he makes whoever he's covering a non-factor in the game, which personally, I'd rather them not even attempt to throw the ball to JSN than at least then throw it up there or anything, put it at risk. Um, so in my opinion, I think Gonzo could be a non-factor, but then you got in the back of your mind Cooper Kupp, former Super Bowl MVP. Sure, he's old. I don't think it matters, Coop. He just scored a touchdown in the playoffs. I think Cooper Kupp could have a game. Same goes for Raheed Shaheed. Same goes for Kenneth Walker. But do you think Gonzo's going to be able to lock down JSN? Well,
I mean, I feel like our best hope is for him to partly lock him down because I feel like it's going to be impossible to fully lock him down. I'll use an NBA analogy for this. I feel like when you have a player like a Steph Curry who's just that dominant, you could have a game where you guard Steph Curry really well, and Steph Curry maybe doesn't have a great shooting percentage, but somehow still manages to get 20 points because he's just that dominant of a
yeah,
player. So if we're going to have any chance of slowing down JSN, I feel like the best we can hope for is to partly slow him down because he's
just
he's
limit
so
it.
exactly like he's so dominant. I don't see any way to where he could fully be shut down. Even if we play a good defensive game against him, I have a hard time believing he's not still going to leave his imprint on the game in some way.
Oh, 100%. I think that's definitely a possibility. And Will, something I've been wanting to bring up to you is honestly something that's been bothering me, and that's the comments that our former quarterback, I don't know if you guys know him, Tom Brady, has made about our New England Patriots. He's recently said he's not supporting any team in the Super Bowl. I understand where he's coming from because he is in broadcaster. I am also disgusted because, I mean, he is literally the greatest Patriot of all time, also the greatest football player of all time, but on the Patriots, he was the greatest football player of all time. I'm not happy. I'm a little disappointed by that, but I feel like you'll have an opinion too, Will. How do you feel about that?
So here's the thing. If Tom Brady wasn't the lead color commentator for Fox and wasn't a part owner of the Oakland Raiders and was neither of those things, then I would have a
Yeah,
massive
that's fair.
issue with him coming out and saying that because then it would be like, what's your point, for not rooting for the Patriots in the Super Bowl? But since he is the lead color commentator for Fox and it's his job to not pick sides and give unbiased color commentary of NFL games, and he is a part-time owner of the Raiders and wants to have that organization's back, for that reason, I am completely fine with it because even though Tom Brady said I'm not picking sides in this game, he also just kind of slightly reversed to that by putting out an Instagram story supporting Robert Kraft and telling Robert Kraft to go win his seventh ring so that they
What?
can be equal. So I feel like he
I didn't
kind of
think that was
backtracked.
real. I saw a screenshot. I wasn't sure if that
Yeah,
was real.
yeah. I checked it and it is real. So I feel like he already kind of backtracked what he said with that. And also, Tom Brady has more than pledged his allegiance to the Patriots organization when he came back during Week 1 for that halftime ceremony in the first season that he retired. He said, "I am a Patriot for life." He ended his Patriots Hall of Fame speech by saying, "I am Tom Brady and I am a Patriot." He has more than pledged his allegiance to this organization. And again, if he wasn't a color commentator and wasn't a part-time owner of the Raiders, then I would be like, Tom, what's going on here? But because he does hold those two positions, I am totally fine with him saying what he said. And I think the former Patriots players who have come out and spoken out against it have just been totally missing the boat on this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I actually saw Gronk defend him, which I thought was cool, but on a deeper level about Brady, do you think he's a good commentator?
I think he's improved this season. Like when I listen to
I do
him
too.
this season, he feels better to me than last season. But the problem for me lies with this. Fox is saying this guy is our number one color commentator. And if Tom Brady is the number one color commentator for Fox, that means that he is going to be expected to perform at an elite level. So, yes, he has improved this season, but because he is supposed to be the best color commentator for Fox, I just think he has so far to go if he wants to get to the level of a Greg Olson, a Troy Aikman, a Chris Collinsworth, a Tony Romo. I just think he
Yeah.
has so much work to do if he wants to get to the level of those people. And look, if you're Fox, I get it. It's Tom Brady, and since he's Tom Brady, how can you not make him your number one color commentator? But what I would have loved to see Fox do is keep Greg Olson as your number one color commentator
I
and put
agree. I
Tom
love Greg.
yeah, and put Tom Brady with the B team. Let him develop, let him grow, let him learn in that role. Don't put so much pressure on him. Um, Greg Olson has come out and said that when he was promoted to the number one color commentary role, he knew that Tom Brady was going to eventually take his job, so that was just part of the deal. But I just feel like since since NFL fans clearly love, myself included, since NFL fans clearly love Greg Olson as a color commentator so much, I say put him back with Kevin Burkhardt in the number one team for Fox and let Brady go to the B team so he can develop and not have that level of pressure on him.
I agree, and I will say he's gotten better, but I still think there's room to grow for sure. And to be able to do the Super Bowl in your second year as a commentator for the NFL is nuts. I will say I really like Kevin Burkhardt though.
Oh, so do
Um,
I.
but yeah, Will, do you have any final predictions, any final hot takes for the game?
I guess I'm just no hot takes that come to mind for me at the moment, but honestly, I'm just hoping for the best because this is a totally different situation we have going here with the Patriots than during the dynasty era. During the dynasty era, anytime the Patriots would go into a Super Bowl with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, you felt like they were gonna win the game, and even if you thought they had a tough opponent that they had to go up against, you still thought they could win the game because it was Bill Belichick and Tom Brady on the team. This situation is totally different. The Patriots are underdogs. These are not the same people. This is not the same team that was associated with the Patriots dynasty. This is just a whole different situation. This Patriots team is not going to be able to be afforded the same confidence that we were able to have as Patriots fans back during the Brady Belichick dynasty. So I hope they win, but it's the most nervous I've been all season.
I'm scared. I am very scared. Um, but I am hopeful. I'm gonna go into this game thinking we're gonna win, despite my prediction. I need on game day. I need to have the mindset that we're gonna win. I'm not gonna try to avoid disappointment. I'm gonna be disappointed if we lose. Will I'm gonna be so mad. And I'm also gonna be mad if Ramondre Stevenson fumbles this table. I just want to remind everyone: if he fumbles in the Super Bowl, the biggest football game ever, um, I'm gonna break my table. So just a heads up. But with that. Thank you all for watching this episode of the Everything Podcast. I love Drake May, um, and I hope Patriots gonna win. You know, let's do it.